Let me adjust the camera before we get the show started. Okay. Let me make sure that you can see me okay. Uh-huh. I feel too tall for my camera, don't I? Okay. Okay. It just... Okay, hold on. Let's give it one more adjustment. See, my head's cutting off because, I have a big head, of course. And then, hi. Okay. Guys, buy me a new camera mount. I'm just joking. I'll make one myself. I'll make a custom one. Make a really cheap custom camera mount. That auto leveling. Anyways. Oh, dude. What's up with my hair? Anyways, guys, I'm sorry. Enough about me. Hi. This is Olive.K. Today, I want to talk about social media, guys. And we'll get things started as soon as the chat's up and ready to go. I'm going to be accepting questions from community members, hopefully. Oops. I'm going to be checking Discord and stuff. Anyways, guys, I want to make sure the comments are up before I really, jump into it, right? Yes, I love capybaras. Here we go. Anyways, we're live and the chat set up. Guys, social media, okay? What the hell? I gotta carry this conversation all on my own tonight. I'm a tough person. I can do it. Let's see how it goes, shall we? Okay. Now, social media is a fairly recent, it's a fairly recent thing, or I should say activity, that we've engaged with as a species. Now, humans have always been social since day one, right? But not social in the sense that I could literally open up my phone and text someone from the other side of the country instantly, literally instantly, right? In a blink of an eye. So we as a species aren't used to being that connected, right? Especially over vast distances. And sometimes cultures can clash, even though the people associated with those cultures would, in theory, never see each other in the real world. And that is one extreme of how social media could potentially do us harm. Another example of harm that social media can pose, which is, it's very similar. I should refer to it as tribalism, but I won't for the moment. That is that we people who live in a community, we citizens who live in a community, we have different interests, right? We have different goals, we have different needs, we have different families, right? And social media can sometimes, without our intention, right, it can be used as a wedge to split each other apart, right? Rather than keep us together, right? Think of the times, right, that your opinions differed from your family, right? or your real life friends, right? You have two groups of friends. We all have two groups of friends. I don't care who you are. If you're even mildly social, right? You have two sets of friends. You have your friends online that you might play video games with, and then you might have your friends in real life. You might refer to those as your coworkers, or sorry, your fellow employees. Hello there, material. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to ask me any questions about social media. I'm just explaining my feelings. So, anyways, you have these separate groups of people, right, that you know in your life. And, sometimes you'll laugh at a joke that only your internet friends might find funny, right? At least that was the case for me, right? I am 36 years old, okay? And I live in California, Southern California, to be specific, right? So I personally find myself to be split at times, where in the real world, I will just pretend to be ignorant to internet drama, right? When I'm out having lunch, right, with some people I just met, or some longtime friends, and some weird drama about Elon Musk changing Twitter to look like a porn site or whatever, somebody asks me about that, I just pretend I have no idea what they're talking about, right? Because I want to not be associated with what I would describe as terminally online, which is someone who's they're just online way too often, right? You know what I'm talking about, material, if you're listening. But I find it very easy with the way social media is currently set up. I find it very easy to lose that social connection in the real world, if that makes sense. So what I try to do to alleviate that, right, is I separate my online time from my real life time. Not many people know that I play video games, that I hang out with, right? I don't tell them. Why should I tell them, right? I mean, one of my neighbors down the street, he owns a PS5, right? And I just tell him that sounds really neat, right? Acting like I don't even know what a console is, or a PS, whatever, right? And he'll tell me about, like, he'll talk to me about Diablo 4, for example, right? Here's a perfect example, okay? So my neighbor, he's talking about Diablo 4 and how he's so mad that Blizzard just keeps tearing his character apart, making it weaker and stuff like that. And I'm just saying, wow, dude, that must feel really bad. In the back of my head, I have played Blizzard games literally since like 1999. So I already know how screwed over my friend is. But it's weird because I feel conflicted. Should I tell him that I know through like 5 minutes of social media and like Googling that Blizzard just doesn't care about their customers? Should I tell that to my friend, or is that like me being terminally online? You decide. Let me read the comment here real quick. It says, materials saying, you gave me a idea what your position about recent case, because was that freelance France president calls internet and media the main cause of the chaos create with the immigration, so this is to set the next. Are you talking about like how governments use social media to create fear of immigrants? Is that what you're talking about? Like how politicians like to use the fast nature of social media to spread lies, hate, fear against the other, against the poor, against the immigrant, right? Against members of the LGBT Yes, that is a thing, and yes, it is very dangerous because a lie can travel. Well, it used to be said that a lie can travel halfway across the world before the truth is revealed. I feel like nowadays a lie can just cover the entire planet before the truth is even thought about. Anyways, let me read this real quick. Okay, it says, one moment. It says, here in Brazil, many accuse video games and social media by the attacks happen sometimes. Oh, they're linked to real world attacks. Are you saying that? Are you saying real world problems are being blamed on video games and social media, right? And then let me read your next comment. I mean, I ask, what's your position on that topic? I personally think, look, social media, unfortunately, the way we live our lives today, social media is kind of like a drug. Does that make sense? Material? Like, think about it for a second. I'm gonna hold my phone out, right? Name a drug that you know of, right? That makes you like do this. Like you pull your hand out, right? And you're just staring for periods of time, swiping, 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 swiping uncontrollably. You ask this person, why are you staring at your phone for 15 minutes straight, and you didn't literally do anything? And they will reply, they don't know. It's the notifications. It triggers chemicals in the brain. Okay, there are way smarter people than me who work on social media apps, right? They know how to use algorithm, which is like a fancy word for math, right? Math, to determine your interests, right? And they use that data, right, to try to trick you in a way into staying on these apps longer than you feel like you would need to, right? Think about it. Why do you need infinite scroll on YouTube? Why? You don't need infinite scroll on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. You don't need it to infinitely scroll on your feed. What's the point? It's to keep you clicking. It's a drug. It's meant to be addictive. By design. Um, kind of, but another type of media today. Another types of media. So I can basically break down the more common forms of social media if you like. So there are forum-based social medias, which are some of the oldest versions of social media, right? You can think of Reddit as a perfect example of a forum style social media, right? Where you can really get down into long form discussions, right? And sometimes, honestly, if you find that right Reddit post, man, it makes you love the internet, right? Makes you love it. I mean, I was reading the other night. I was reading the other night about the siphonophore, right? This weird creature. I mean, these. It's like this tiny. Where's the camera? Tiny little creature. About, I don't know how size. It's really small. Don't get me wrong. So it's like, so basically a siphonophore is like this, like thousands and thousands of these tiny little creatures that combine together to create this big mass of gelatinous, looks like an alien horror or some shit. But like that's my perfect example. If you go deep enough into sites like Reddit, you'd be surprised with the kind of information you can find, right? But at the same time, you know, I noticed recently, this was before Elon changed the website to Twitter to. He changed the Twitter name to X, and now I don't want to use the website anymore because it looks like a porn website. Have you seen Twitter lately, Material? Have you not? Like, This guy's going out of his way to making, like, he wants to destroy Twitter, I swear to God. This fail son of an emerald miner has no idea how to be successful in his life, okay? Has no clue, okay? Like, he is living proof of great man theory, okay? I swear to God. Literally, like, historians will be studying him for the next 100 or so years. I swear to fucking God. Well, what's up? Well, yeah, Elon did some mess with Twitter. Yeah, like, basically he changed the name of Twitter to X.com, and if you go onto the website, it almost, like, if you're like looking at the thumbnail of the website, kind of looks like a porn site, like a pornographic website. And I'm thinking to myself, are you literally trying to destroy this app yourself? Like, like he's just wealthy enough to where I feel like I feel like the best thing he can do at this point is just literally disappear from social media. Like, there's nothing else he can do if he truly wants to help himself in life. Just leave social media for, like, I don't know, half a year, come back, because the average, social media user has ADHD. They'd probably forget he existed after the first few weeks. And then he could reset his reputation, but he's just so hard stuck on this X. I don't know why he's obsessed with X's. It's gotta be a meme. Well, yeah, Elon did. Yeah, I read that. Sorry, guys. My point is, okay, so we're done talking about Twitter. Okay, so we talked about forum bases, places that allow you to engage in forum discussion, right? And then there's another type of social media that I personally enjoy, okay, which is, how do you call it? Media sharing, right? Which is, you can think of it like Instagram, right? Pinterest, right? These sites where you share, like, pictures, maybe video, and sometimes they're cool, sometimes they're silly. If you're asking me, I love cats. I'm a sucker for cats on the internet, okay? If you want me to like your posts, make sure there's a cat in it, in the picture or in the video. I will like it. I am a sucker for cats. Sorry. Anyways, there's that. That's a second example of social media, right? And then I want to talk about some lesser known ways of utilizing social media, right? At least from the standpoint of a normie. Maybe they're not thinking about it like this. Educating the population, right? We live in a time where we can rapidly inform the public on very important topics. For example, emergencies. When something bad happens in the world, right? You can let a large amount of people know about it in a short period of time. It's very interesting how that works. A goddamn volcano can't erupt from, like, Hawaii without there being a live stream of it available to, like, the whole world to watch. It's kind of cool how that works, let's see. I need to go by. Oh, sorry, not to say much. I kind of tired. If I. Okay, no, take care. Thank you. We'll hang out again some other time. Thank you for asking me some questions. Anyways, I was just touching on the social media aspect of informing the general public. I think that is one of the most important things about social media, the potentially the most positive aspect of social media is if there's a deadly event happening and you need to let a lot of people know in a short period of time, social media is the best way. It really, truly is. You know, like imagine how COVID 19, like imagine those years, 2020, right? 2021. Like, how would COVID 19, or sorry, 2019 to 2021, right? Those years. How would COVID 19 play out without social media, right? Do you think more nations would be affected by the virus? Do you think more deaths would be attributed to the virus without social media warning people ahead of time? Or not ahead of time, but like getting the message out faster, right? With social media. I think this might be just me speculating here, but I think the virus would have been a lot worse without social media. I think maybe not to the point that like entire nations die off, but certainly to the point that um you would you would definitely you would definitely tell in your part of the world that a large amount of people are just getting sick without, and in the delay between you realizing that something's wrong and maybe your local government or your local news, by the time they tell you what the problem actually is, you probably had COVID already, you know? So I just feel like social media does have some advantages and it does have some positivity. It's not all bad. The thing about social media is it's a tool. It's a tool, but at the same time, if you're not very educated, if you're not media literate, it can also be misused, and for some people it can be abused like a drug, right? To get that bias, you know, if you have an internal bias, right? I believe that's the term, right? Internal bias. One second. With internal bias, the self-serving bias refers to the tendency to attribute internal personal factors to positive outcomes, but external stimu sorry situational factors to negative outcomes. See, that's what I'm talking about. So you have certain biases about yourself, right? I have certain biases about myself, okay? That's just called being human. Now, the thing about that is that there are smart people in places of power who misuse our internal biases, and they use that to manipulate us, to gain or maintain power, to have us fight amongst each other. Let me see who's commenting. No habla español, por favor. Anyways, sorry, I had to let the chatter know that I don't speak Spanish. Anyways, um, dude, I've got sinus problems. Anyways, where was I? Oh yes. So, our eternal biases, right? You know, we have these thoughts in our heads. They're not completely fair or accurate, but we think these thoughts all the time, right? And you know, ideally we should be challenging our thoughts as often as we can, right? Just to see, you know, just to see if our thoughts are valid, right? But the problem is social media as it stands right now of what's the July 27th, 2023. Social media is literally designed not to challenge your beliefs, not to challenge your thoughts necessarily, but to pander to them. Does that, are you following what I'm saying? So websites, like I'll give you a perfect example, okay? This is if you want to do a little test, all right? Go on to your favorite social media website, okay? Go on to YouTube, all right? Go on to Twitch, go on to Facebook, go on to anything, right? And I want you to go to the search bar, and I want you to search a topic that you don't normally search for, okay? So let me give you an example. So I love cats, right? I've already said this before, I love cats. But what if I randomly, without warning, right? Without context, right? I searched up Superman, right? I don't watch Superman. I don't know anything about Superman. I don't have any interest in Superman. But if I watched one YouTube video of Superman, right? My recommendations get filled with Superman content. So this is exactly what I'm trying to point out. I'm trying to point out what's going on. Hala como estás? No. Oh shoot. Anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, that's my point. My point is that social media algorithms are so hyper geared towards trying to predict your interests, right? That sometimes, from my experience, I feel like I'm being robbed in some way. Not in the sense like if you walked up to me and took money out of my pocket kind of robbery, but a type of robbery of thought, right? A type of robbery of imagination, right? You see, if you disable your search history and your watch history like I do on YouTube, um, what ends up happening, right, is that you only get content that you subscribe to. And then as you're watching, it will branch off to adjacent content. But if you have search history and watch history, if you don't like remove those two things, for example, like if you don't like clear your watch and search history often enough, what ends up happening is YouTube starts creating what I'm going to describe as a rabbit hole. They create a rabbit hole, a mental rabbit hole for you to go into, right? And what ends up happening is you'll look up something like benign, right? And then before you know it, you find yourself looking at something very extreme and very different from where you first began your search, right? That is where the term rabbit hole, I believe, originated from. But my point is, maybe, perhaps, this is just a guess, but I believe we need to figure out how to gain control over our social media. We need to learn how to think about social media differently than we currently look at it, right? Let me give you an example. Where's my Here's a prop. You see this thing? This is a tool. This isn't your life, okay? It's just a tool. It lets you perform phone calls, or in our case, it lets you send and receive messages, maybe check an interesting video if you have some downtime, perhaps. But ultimately, it's not your life to be on that phone, okay? Unless it's literally your job, because I am aware that social media is actually a career option for some people. Now, I just mentioned career. Let me talk about jobs in social media, okay? Jobs in social media. I personally think that we're going to get to a point in our lives where social media is required for employment. And here's my hypothesis, right? Hypothesis is, I believe, a theory without proof, right? Anyways, here's my hypothesis why employers will start requiring usage of social media, okay? Here it goes. It creates a digital paper trail that your employer can keep track of, right? If you said something dumb as fuck 10 years ago, your employer is going to know. The government's going to know, right? Anyone who wants to know anything about you can just search you up, okay? Now, if you're one of those people who, if you're one of those people that, God bless you, you have lived a good life without social media. I don't know why you're on my YouTube stream right now, but good job. If you've gained some mastery or some control over social media, that is a wonderful thing, and God bless you, okay? But for people like me, okay, just to let you know, I'm a child of the 1990s, okay? So that puts me in a unique position. I'm not going to pretend, I'm better than you because I grew up in the 90s, but what I'm trying to say in terms of my unique position in history is that I remember a time that the internet was not a thing, right? And I always joke to my friends, like, where would I be without the internet, right? Probably in jail. I don't know. I just feel like at this point in my life, because I've been chronically online since the early 2000s, right? Right around when World of Warcraft first took off, right? 2004, somewhere around there. And I don't feel like I'm a lost cause per se, but I feel like I'm in this weird middle ground where like I know what the past feels like, and I know what the hi Toxie, how's it going? um I want you to know that I'm talking about social media right now. If you have any questions related to social media, please feel free to ask away, okay? I'm just going through my experiences right now, okay? So, yeah, I was talking about my unique position in our times, right? In our world. As a child of the 90s, like I said, I have one foot in the world before the internet, right? And I have my other foot in the world of always online, always available, can talk to people all around the world, right? And I just think, like, I don't want to be like one of those doomers, right? Like, there's a group of people that's probably like my parents' age or maybe a little older, right? And you probably heard this before. They're like fear mongering social media, right? And they're saying, oh, you need to get off, you need to go cold turkey. Well, hold on. We live in a first world country, okay? That's not exactly something you can just, you know, do overnight, right? So I feel like, personally, I feel like it would be infinitely better just to teach people how to use social media properly, how to be um, media literate, so that they can understand when they look at an article, right? When they look at a YouTube video or a TikTok clip, that they know whether or not it's true or false, right? That's all I care about. Now, in terms of managing your time while using these social media sites or apps, whichever you want to call it, right? I do believe, like, we need to, perhaps you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, we need to start teaching young people time management skills. What do you think? So here I'll give you three things that I think high schoolers ought to learn to create a better internet user in the future, okay? You let me know how what you think. Okay, so just three things in high school, okay? These I feel are so important, okay? Number 1, okay? 1 second. Number 1, the humanities. We need to start teaching the humanities in high school instead of college or university, okay? Unfortunately, by the time someone becomes 18 years old or whatever the age is in your country that's considered old enough to learn the humanities, honestly, it's too late. It honestly is too late. The interest is gone. You know, you know what you know, and chances are you don't want to learn anything else, right? Sorry about the slur, but yeah. So I feel in high school we should start teaching the humanities. And then another thing we should start teaching is media literacy. Like I mentioned before, media literacy will literally allow our young people to know when the news is lying to you, right? When a newspaper or a television media host lies to you, it's important for young people to understand the difference between a lie and truth, right? Oh, Minecraft. Yeah, don't mind the Minecraft. Don't mind the Minecraft. You want I'll show you the house. This is my community world. I'll show you the one thing I built while I talk, okay? And then what was the third thing? So we got media literacy, or yeah, we got media literacy. We got the humanities, okay? And then one final thing that I personally think just it just it's like the holy trinity of making a brand new human being in the 21st century going forward, right? Right? So my big thing is that we are in a unique situation globally where we can be very productive, but at the same time, we don't need to work as hard. But the problem is, we are still being raised, right, into thinking the opposite, right? We're still thinking through a 20th century mindset, right? We have never been more productive throughout human history. Think about it. We're so much more productive as a people than at any other point in human history, yet we work longer hours, right? We work longer hours. It stresses us, right, quite a bit. But the problem is that we don't realize that we're overworking. We're working jobs that we hate for hours that would be considered unhealthy, right? In a actual just civilized first world country, right? Because think about the logic here what I'm talking about. I'm not telling you to be lazy. I'm not telling you not to work for a living. I'm telling you that your life is not your job. Your your life is more than your job. Your life is your personal time, right? Where you get to spend improving yourself. Think about it. If we educate young people, we encourage them to say, look, here's the new future that we're setting forth, okay? Here's the new future that we're setting forth, okay? We recognize that we can be even more productive if we adjust certain metrics like working hours, right? Like working conditions. We need to teach young people And this is a long-winded explanation of me just saying that we need to teach young people to be aware or conscious of their place, economically speaking, right? Or you can call it class consciousness, right? Your awareness of where you are in the totem pole in life, right? You might be saying to yourself, is this political? This is not political, at least the way I'm referring to it. This is just me trying to help you out so that you don't feel obligated to essentially wear yourself down physically and mentally for no reason, right? I think more young people need to be aware of just their value, right, to society, right? They need to be valued more, but not just valued more. They need to be educated to a point that they recognize their value, right? And that's where the class consciousness comes in to play. If we teach those three things, right? Class consciousness, right? Media literacy, humanities. I could be wrong. Maybe I will work on this kind of concept in my head, this hypothesis in my head some more. Like I said, it's a hypothesis. I could be off pretty much, but I would have to really dive deep into the details of a 21st century citizen's lifestyle, right? What do they aspire towards, right? What does for example, someone from France think about in terms of their future? Are they thinking like, is their future positive or is it negative? You could ask the same thing about, I don't know, someone in Ohio, right? You could ask them, what do you think of life today, right? Do you like your job? Do you like your life? Do you like your environment? Do you like your community, right? Now, if you ask people, like your friends and stuff, you're going to get one of two answers, all right? You're going to get like vague generalities, right? Where they'll just kind of touch around the subject, where they'll say things like, well, we live in hard times, but America is the greatest country on earth. Whatever bullshit like that. Copium. It's to make themselves feel better. But the truth of the matter is, the average person, i.e. the normie, has no idea just how much they're being screwed over in life. Right? And if they were media literate, they would realize when journalists and TV anchors are being condescending towards them, the citizens, right? They would realize when politicians are pandering to their voting base. Like, who wants to be pandered to, right? I certainly don't want to be pandered to, right? Socially pandered, that's just disrespectful in my opinion. And if more people thought like that, it'd be so impossible for bad politicians to win, because we would have an entire population of, Redditors. You know what I mean? Like, we've got an entire population of voters who act like Redditors. That would scare a politician. Here's my house, by the way, guys. Just let you know. Anyways, there's that. Now, I want to talk about my experiences with social media in terms of posting content, not just watching content, but posting content. I have been more of a hobbyist in terms of posting content online, right? It's my hobby, okay, and I like it. I like to think of it just as a hobby. Because if I thought of it as a job, you know I'd be talking trash about social media right now, guys. You already know. Oh my god. That's how you know if I'm being paid or not to cover social media. Just to let you know. Anyways, yeah, I do it as a hobby, and I sometimes find myself being very addictive, addicted to certain social media apps, right? Even I, at like 3 in the morning, I'll wake up thirsty, go get some water. My phone is just right there on the nightstand. Pick it up, the notifications pop up, right? Someone said something dumb as hell on Twitter. I open that up, 10 minutes later, I'm scrolling. You know, that sounds like an addiction, right? No different than you reaching for a pack of cigarettes. No different than you reaching for a bottle of your favorite booze. It's the same thing. So that's why I feel like instead of just going cold turkey with an inevitability, because social media is an inevitability, you're going to use it to some degree regardless of how you feel about it, especially as the Zoomers grow up in life, right? My thing is that we should just teach moderation. But not just that, we need to teach people, adults, that they need to hold social media websites accountable. You see, they can't just rely, honestly, we can't just sit back and let these multi-billion-dollar social media websites use us as guinea pigs to perfect their AI algorithmic software, okay? That's what they're doing. They're harvesting our data. They're using it to profit off of us. Usually they sell your private information to advertisers, okay? That's usually how it works. So they take all of that data from you, which, by the way, Google search how much your personal data is worth, right? To, I don't know, let's say Facebook, for example. How much is your private information worth to Facebook? Would they pay you? If the federal government required them to pay you for the privilege of harvesting your data, how much do you think you would get off of that, right? I think you can get a decent amount, because you see, your information that they're harvesting off of you, they're getting a lot of money back from that research, right? And you should be rightfully angry that they're taking information from you for free and then selling it to third-party entities, mostly advertisers, so then they can push products and services upon you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's no escape. Hello, Lily Neko. What's up? I'm just going through the whole motions of the convo here. Did you have any questions? I've touched on how addictive social media can be, different types of social media, positive attributes of social media, negative attributes of social media. Been going all around tonight, and I gave, like I said, a personal antidote, basically a personal story of how I look at social media and how sometimes I feel so addicted to just pick up my phone and see what's going on, especially with this heat wave. I really want to take my mind off of the incredibly hot weather that's been going on right now. And unfortunately, I've been using social media to take my mind off of this destructive heat. social media is addictive. I think we need to teach ourselves to not mindlessly scroll. That's what I was saying earlier. I was referring to media literacy, right? Media literacy is part of that, right? Your ability to tell the truth from a lie, right? Another great way of thinking about media literacy is it can help you in perceiving how social media is used in your daily life, right? It like there's nothing wrong with getting on, checking to see what your friends are up to, right? Maybe, you know, seeing one of their posts or whatever. But at the same time, you have to take steps to prevent yourself from being like overwhelmed with the amount of data that these apps seem to just vomit out at you, you know? The thing is, we need to regulate, in my opinion, we need to regulate social media companies. It's not always on the user, right? It isn't just on the user. That's another thing about media literacy. You need to be aware that, for example, Facebook is harvesting your data so that they can figure out how to keep you on the app longer, right? That is not your fault. You are just a consumer. Okay, just get educated and know that you're being used and manipulated through data. Okay, now let me read the next comment. It can be a helpful tool, but so far has been more destructive due to how we use it. Yes, let me give you an example I made earlier, Lily. Okay, so here's an example, okay? Politicians use social media to lie, to spread fear. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, right? They spread fear about groups of people that are not very known within your community, right? And these, quote, leaders take advantage of that ignorance. They use social media to spread lies, propaganda, in order to literally affect the way you think. Okay, consider that for a second, okay? We get such easily accessible media. We literally fall into the trap of super short content that leaves you sitting there for hours and you barely remember it afterwards. Well, the problem is people aren't, like I said, people aren't media literate. If people were media literate, they would just search for the, like, let me put it to you this way, Lily. If people were media literate, why would we need a recommended page? Why would we need a For You page? Why would we need someone else to tell us what they think we like? If we were literate, we would know what we like. We would know what we want. We would know what to search for. We would not need a recommended page to show us content potentially to get us to stay on the app longer. Right? That is what I'm pointing out. And I think it's super important. I think like we can't just focus on the user. The user, it's not the user's total responsibility, right? Because think about it like this. Would you agree that psychologists and very intelligent people within the field of psychology have been employed by social media companies to figure out clever and unique ways to keep you on the app longer, or to keep you on, right? It's not just you, there's a little bit of trickery going on behind the scenes that's making you mindlessly scroll, right? You're not stupid. If I'm going to use myself as an example. I said this one time earlier in the stream, and I find myself addicted to sites like Twitter and Reddit, right? I don't post on Reddit. I'm a reader, but you get my point. I I find myself looking at Twitter. It starts with looking at cat posts, right? Cuz Lily, you already know I like cats. Okay. So it starts off with looking at cat pics, right? Then before I know it, I'm looking at people saying the most unhinged bullshit coming out of their accounts, right? And then I used to like, troll and make fun of them. It was a fun time, big memes, making fun of people, right? But um ever since there was this weird shakeup in my life recently that made me think, "Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm addicted to this," right? Like the other night I was like, I woke up, got some water, 15 minutes later, I'm just scrolling through Twitter, you know. I was scrolling through YouTube. I looked at one Twitter post and then I hopped onto YouTube. My bad. That's the full story. So I started on YouTube, on Twitter. I looked at some cat posts. I saw some unhinged shit. People vomiting out with blue check marks. Oh my god. And then the next thing I know, I'm watching YouTube videos of commentators just talking shit about other commentators. And I'm just like, "Wait, now hold on. How did I get here?" Media literacy is definitely a big part of it, but also the shorter content is more praised currently. It's because human attention span is lines up with the length of a short form content. That's the deal. Our attention span seems to line up with it. Like I said, it's no accident. Because remember, YouTube was the king of short videos before TikTok, right? So it's not like this is a new thing. Short form content it's not a new thing. It's just a growing and growing um trend. It's growing, but it's always been around since the early 2000s, right? And to some extent in the 90s, if you consider those really, really short demo videos on like VHS. Um, for me, I'm constantly on YouTube and Discord. I'm constantly on. Oh, that's another one, Discord. That's the thing, though, Lily. The think about our species, right? Think about the history of our species, right? We have probably been a species for what, hundreds of thousands of years, right? Is that fair to say? Name one point in history that the average human being has access to as much information as we do right now. Name one period of time where you're potentially able to talk to someone on the other side of the world instantly, right? That you're like almost 100% available to anyone online. If you're like me, I run my accounts public. I never private my accounts. So that's almost like saying I'm available to anyone at any time. And that can really affect you mentally if you're not like prepared for that. Like growing up, I've been told like if you want to be online, you have to have a thick skin, right? And that's not to say, "Oh, you need a thick skin for people to be mean." No, no, no. Think of it like this. You need a thick skin to be on the internet, because if you don't, you're going to be abused. You're going to be abused by website apps. You're going to be abused by online trolls. You're going to be abused by algorithmic data, designed to keep you on their websites and apps longer than you actually wanted to. Okay? You feel me? You understand what I'm saying? And yet, our minds dump out a lot of information because we aren't given the time to process it. Well, yeah. Well, we have to be taught. That's the thing. We have to be taught. Okay? We have a word for that. Okay? So, knowledge. Think of knowledge as a pool, right? Think of a pool of water. Actually, let's look at this. Let's look at this for example, okay? See this body of water, right? I'm showing this body of water on stream, okay? You see that body of water? Think of that as knowledge, right? Our knowledge is pretty vast, right? But here's the deal. I want you to access a photo at the bottom of that pool. Now you see the problem? We have access to an endless ocean of data, or in this case, a endless lake of data, right? But we don't have the ability to sift through and locate the actual pieces of information we need, and that requires training and media literacy, right? And I was talking about this earlier. What do you think of the humanities, by the way, Lily? What do you think of the humanities? Because I personally think that is key, okay? That is key to unlocking our abilities to manage social media, right? Let me know what you think about that. It's like bullies on the playground. Yeah, but the unfortunate thing is the playground is so much larger now in life, right? At least when I had a bad day at school when I was a kid, I could just go home, right? And the drama was still at school. But nowadays, it just feels like you cannot escape, right? You say something dumb as hell online, that shit is going to follow you potentially the rest of your life. And that is what these Zoomers don't understand. I love Zoomers. I think they are our future. Zoomers are the future. But at the same time, they just don't understand. You know, you have this I don't give a fuck attitude about life, which is cool, rock on or whatever. But at some point, you're going to realize, holy fucking shit, the dumb things I said as a teenager are going to follow me the rest of my life. You know, and that's one negative aspect of social media. It just gets too it's too interwoven with our real lives. You know, it just like, let's see, you're not sure what humanities are. Here, I'll give you a brief summary. Okay, so it's typically a subject in college or university, right? Now, let me read this to you, okay? And you tell me what you think, Lily, okay? Humanities courses can include the study of history, philosophy, and religion, modern and ancient languages and literature, fine and performing arts, media, and cultural studies, just to name a few. Now, do you see where I'm coming from when I say we need to start teaching the humanities in high school, right? We need to start teaching it at a younger age so that when you do become an adult, you are aware of these subjects. You are aware of certain things about life, right? You're aware of how media affects you, how media affects your world, you know? You're aware of how art makes you literally feel, you know? Your language controls your thoughts. Your language dictates your behavior. You know? Think about it. Let me let's see. Oh, I got something better. 1 second. I'm gonna move the light. Dun, 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 dun. What were you saying? Yeah, a lot of people either drop out or don't go to college, so it definitely should be taught earlier. Exactly. I think like we need to. This is I don't want to like be mean or whatever, but I think we need to develop a better human. We need to develop a more knowledgeable human to deal with our modern world, right? There you go. Here, let me brighten up the screen a little bit. No wonder it was at it was like 30%. My phone battery was at, or my phone brightness was at 30%. No wonder I could barely see it. But yeah, I think the humanities should definitely be taught in high school. Also, listen, the genie's out of the bottle. Okay, we can't. I hate to say it, but we cannot. We can't remove social media without causing serious harm to people who rely upon it, right? Every day, right? We can't just go cold turkey. Now, if you want to wean yourself down, you should, and I encourage you to wean yourself off of social media and just use it as minimum as possible, right? Unless your job in life is to be on social media, I highly suggest you limit your exposure to social media. You don't have to go cold turkey, okay? There are positive attributes to having like one social media, right? Account, right? If you only have the one, let's say you only have one social media account, right? You don't have like 12 like I do, right? You just have one. You just have the one. Oh, look at that cat picture. Oh, see, look at Twitter already sent me a cat picture as I was talking about cat pics. You know, some cat content on Twitter. I just saw in the notification screen while I was talking to you. It's what my goal has been for the most part, other than researching purposes and learning certain things. Yeah. Well, we need to make people more aware, right? That's the thing. We can't just sit back and assume that people are just, oh, you're an adult, you can handle and manage your own urges and, habits. Like do you see how weird that sounds? Do you see how rude that sounds for me to walk up to someone and literally be like, yo, control your fucking habits. Even though I know websites like Facebook pay billions of dollars to research how to make people more addicted to Facebook, right? There is a video, right? I wish I could find it right now. But there's a video that literally one of Facebook's lawyers admitted that they knew their website causes harm to human beings. They knew that. They've known that for years. So we need to teach ourselves how to recognize danger when we see it. Now let me read this. Kristen TV says social media is a very strong multi-tool in today's society for information gathering, but it's definitely a good idea to take breaks from it on occasion. Otherwise, it can become a subconscious point of stress. I agree. I agree with that comment right there. I was saying earlier, I don't know how long you've been on the stream for, but I catch myself addicted. I catch myself scrolling. Here, I'll show you. Scrolling randomly at 3 a.m. because I know you. I said earlier I got thirsty one time. Woke up, got some water. 15 minutes later, I was literally trash talking some random Twitter user. making fun of them or something. I don't know. He was an idiot. He was saying dumb things. It got me going. I it's my addiction. I recognize it. We're going. Let me log into a different world. By the way, guys, give me a second. Let me log into my world. My world, not the community world. Okay, I'm logging into my private world, guys. You gotta get them to realize it on their own. No, Lily, I disagree. You cannot just sit back. Okay, look. If I saw you, listen, Lily, if I saw you physically and mentally being hurt and I knew what was causing the problem, would I just sit back and go, "Well, she'll figure it out eventually," right? Or am I going to stop you and I'm going to explain to you, hey, this app is not real. Human beings don't look like this on Instagram. Put the bottle down. Like if you're addicted to alcohol, I would say, listen, I love you, but you have a problem with alcohol. It is not your fault all the way through. It's not 100% all your fault. And there's no shame. There's no shame in admitting that you can't control yourself. You can assist, but you gotta give them some guidance. That's perfect. That's fair. You open your phone, the first thing you see are the notifications that bring you straight to starting the loop process. Well, the thing is, I can just turn the notifications off, but you need to know how to turn notifications off, or you need to have it set up in a way to where the only notifications you get are the ones you actually want, right? For example, I have every Discord that I'm in with the notifications turned off, except for two. There's only 2 Discords that I have notifications on. My personal one, and then there's one that's really active that I like to talk on, right? That's it. You gotta limit your notifications, but that takes knowledge. You need to be taught these skills. You can't just wake up one day, "Oh, I suddenly knew how to manage my Twitter." No, you need to be taught. Okay, and that's what media literacy comes in handy. And then what are you saying, Kristen TV? I've been watching with Lily for the past maybe 10 minutes. I like your depth of thought. Thank you. I'm really trying to get into more discussion content. I've been telling Lily that recently, and I think I'm going to be doing that a lot more often. So if you have any topics that you suggest me to dive into for future streams, let me know. Feel free to let me know. Also, in case you don't know, I'm in my private Minecraft world, so please rate. Okay, please rate. I didn't mean stand back. What I mean is give the guidance without pushing it in their face, giving them the tools to that conclusion through thought process, through their thought process. Well, how about this then? Okay. How about this then? Let me put it to you in another way. Would you just let anyone go? Would you just let anyone use a stove to cook dinner? Or would you let people that you know actually, they have cooking skills, right? Would you let someone you know have cooking skills use a kitchen stove? Or would you just let anyone use a kitchen stove, right? Obviously, we let people who know how to use a kitchen stove use a kitchen stove. That's the same thing. That should be the same thing with automobiles, right? You don't just let anyone drive cars. We have licenses for a reason. Now, I'm not saying, okay, I'm going to stop and say that I'm not saying that we need to institute license registrations to be on the internet. What I'm trying to say is, if you find yourself so addicted to a social media website that you can't control yourself, that you have to constantly scroll, that you have to constantly, every 5 minutes or so, grab the phone and see what the notifications have to say, well, that's a skill issue, sweetie, and that can be overcome, okay? Now, I have learned a few self-discipline skills myself. For example, I will never join a voice chat invite unless I know why they're inviting me, right? I will never join a voice chat call unless I know ahead of time why they're calling me. Another example is if someone messages me online and they say the equivalent of like Minecraft, implying that they want to play Minecraft with me, I just ignore their message. Because if they're so lazy to send a one-word statement, then I don't need to reply back. There are certain situations that I feel ignoring is actually a good thing. Certain situations in life, I feel you would do very best, you'd be best served to practice ignoring things. At least put it away for some time. I used to have this habit back in the day that I wouldn't necessarily reply to comments at first. I would give it like some time, like an hour or so, right? After I would see a comment back in the day on my first YouTube channel, right? And I would get really scared. I'd be like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm going to say the right thing. And then I would like wait like an hour or two, and then I would reply. Nowadays, I just shoot from the hip. I just say whatever I feel, Let me go in my home, guys. Okay, guys. Let me get caught up. There's always the one point where you have to put them in that position. You can only practice a task so much before it comes to actually doing. Well, that's the difference between knowledge and experience, right? I can talk to you guys all day long about how to use social media websites, but until you go out into the social media websites and experience each different app, each different website, it's only theory at the end of the day. It's not reality, right? In terms of using these apps, right? That was me. Previously, I used to do that a lot. That's how I am with new DMs. It kind of feels bad, but if someone only says hi and that's the first time they've talked to me, I don't say exactly. If this let me finish the comment. If you want to tell me something or need something, then communicate that to me. Exactly. Okay? Think about it. If you think about it like this, what was it really that important to them, right? If you don't reply to their post and they don't say anything further, right? Was it really that important? Chances are it wasn't, right? Chances are it was completely meaningless. And you just avoided a meaningless form of communication. Because guess what? Your time is important. You don't have that much time in any given day, right? We only have 24 hours in a day. So you don't want to be wasting your time with BS. If someone wants to talk to you, like I talked to Lily earlier, right? Lily, you know what I'm talking about. I don't just send one word, right? I let you know what's up. I actually go out and attempt to communicate with you and stay in touch with you. And dude, I love this house. Oh my god, we need to renovate this apartment someday, guys. You think that'd be fun to go into this building and just redo this building? Oops. That'd be nice, right? Anyways, let's get back to the convo. Okay, so but you see what I'm saying. So yeah, you gotta practice some tough love, guys. You gotta practice some tough love. Especially if you are just a regular user of if you're a regular user of social media, if it's not your job, right? If it's just a hobby, then yeah, who's gonna blame you because you chose not to reply to a comment for like an hour, right? Who's gonna blame you, right? No one. And if they do, you can call them a sweat. Because that's what they are. They're a sweaty sweat. And they need to take a shower, right? So guys, do you have any more comments for me? Do you have anything you want to talk about in terms of social media? I personally think I could touch on the future of social media or my speculation of the future of social media before I wrap this up. What do you think? Dude, I love this apartment building. Oh my god. Guys, I need to play Minecraft. I need to build something in Minecraft again. It's been a long time. I mean, look at this. Oh my god, look at this. Look at the Hollywood sign. Look at the Hollywood sign, guys. Did you even see the Hollywood sign? Oh my lord. Here. But yeah, I'm looking. You guys, you have anything else to say, or I'll wrap it up with my speculation of the future. Okay. Let's look at the Hollywood sign, guys. Look at the Hollywood sign, guys. You love it. Don't you love it? If you get a laptop, we can chat easier. Honestly, I just need to save up until the end of the year. Probably get a part-time job. I don't know. I'll think about that. Maybe do some crazy media campaign to raise the money. Do like some kind of fundraising to get broadcasting equipment. And if you get on the future of social media, how about that failed Twitter rebrand? Oh, I touched on it earlier. You know, one of the things that really kind of broke my addiction to Twitter, I'm going to be honest with you. I was addicted. I felt like I was like kind of addicted to Twitter until the rebrand. Because now like for some goddamn reason, Elon Musk is obsessed with X, like the letter X. And it's like, it looks like a porn site. Have you been on Twitter recently? It looks like a porn site. And like, here's the thing. You probably know this already, or you probably don't. Elon Musk did not even bother to get the copyright for X.com. Someone else owns it already. Twitter owns, or not Twitter, sorry. Facebook Meta owns some of the copyrights to the various forms of X, like X videos, I think. Or I forgot which one specifically, but long story short, Elon was so stupid that he didn't bother to secure copyrights for the terms he wanted Twitter to become. Like, it's really dumb, right? So that's why I haven't been really tweeting that much recently. I I don't even talk shit on Twitter anymore. I post, like, when I get done with this stream, I'm gonna post the VOD through Twitter, and I'm gonna post it through Mastodon. Guys, if you know anything about Mastodon, I'm still trying to learn that social media app. I'm not very knowledgeable on that, but I'm gonna start posting videos on there and see how it goes, see what people think. Um, yeah, Twitter's a mess. Yeah, dude. Like, I, I honestly, I honestly want to uninstall it off my phone. I really do. Like, what's the point of keeping it on my phone? It's just an excuse for me to pick it up, right? If I delete Twitter off my phone, that's a huge that's a huge distraction removed from my phone, right? Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I still have it on my Chromebook computer in case I really want to see what's going on with some of the people I care about, right? But ultimately, if I'm out in the real world, I don't want to fucking know anything that happens in Twitter. I don't fucking care if I'm having lunch, right, guys? Do you agree with me? Um, I have Twitter, but I never use it really. Oh, you know what, Lily? I wish you could. I wish you could take a few moments of your life, go onto my profile, and check out my replies. Because I used to talk so much shit. I used to talk so much shit to people. I made fun of some guy to the point that he changed his entire profile overnight. I made fun of him. I made up a copy pasta about someone who was being weird um against trans people. He was like talking shit about trans people. So I made fun of him, and my joke was so like it made him feel so bad that he had to change his entire profile because I was just making fun of him too hard. And you know what? I don't feel bad. Sometimes, like, I feel okay with bullying bullies. Let's just say that. Bullying bullies online is fun. Sometimes. It's a great pastime. I also have a Twitter, but I post goofy stuff, then close the app. Not a fan of scrolling through it. I stopped scrolling through it. Recently, I just, like I said, I post the VODs here on this channel. I don't talk shit anymore because if I do, that would require me to do a lot of scrolling through to find, those really, really bad people online, right? I used to seek it out. I used to seek out, like, the most unhinged. I kid you not. Just look at my past sometime. I used to look up the most unhinged bullshit, right? And I would go right in. I'd go right in, just start making fun, just start slaying, and I remember ratioing I'll give you an example, okay? So, I'm a vegetarian, right? Someday I will upgrade to being a vegan, right? But I would say I still like cheese. It's a big it's a big weakness of mine, right? And then there's this vegan who is talking shit to people, right? They're saying, "Oh, you're a murderer if you eat a hamburger." And I was explaining to her, like, yeah, veganism is good, but it's a challenge you have to overcome to reduce your animal consumption, right? It's not something you do overnight. So I was explaining to this person, like, yeah, being vegan is cool, but it's not easy. You have to take all of these steps, and you have to educate yourself, and you have to overcome the fact that you grow up in a society that says eating meat is okay, right? And then she said the most stupid, unhinged shit in my life. Like, she claimed it was a personal problem for me to identify the struggles of going vegan or some shit like that. And like I honestly ratioed her. I ratioed her into the ground, right? But spoiler alert on that story, we're best friends right now. We're best friends, I'm joking. We're buddies. We don't hate each other. But I had to do it, you know. I had to do it when someone's being a bully online. I have to like I have this urge, right? You know what I'm talking about? I have this urge. I have this urge to destroy people online. Oh, I want, you know, some people want to see the world burn. No. I want to make fun of people online. You know? Anyways, with that, let's see how long we've been live for, okay? Been live for a little bit over an hour, okay, guys? So I would like you guys to do me a favor, okay? And that is, I would like you to, if you're able to support this channel, either through subbing or liking the stream, or at very least letting people you know that I'm gonna start doing discussion streams. Okay, so if you could do one of those things, that'd be lovely, and I'd appreciate it a lot. And I think I'm done. So if you guys want to say goodbye or whatever, that'd be cool. I'm about to get ready to watch a very special television show. If you want to know, I'm about to watch a very, very special television show. When I get off of here, if you care at all to know. Here it is. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, I'm gonna be watching something very special tonight, and I'm basically gonna have a good evening, and hopefully things get cooled down, because this heat wave is terrible, guys. If you, I hope you're doing well through this bad weather. You know, I hope you're staying out of the sun. You know, you're staying cool. You're staying hydrated. It's gross here tonight. I know. I've got the window fan pumping air. It just, oh my god. I even looked at the weather this morning. It's just going to be the same gross weather for the next foreseeable week or so. It's just, oh my god, guys. Oh my god. We really destroyed our climate, didn't we? Alright, here it goes. Here it goes, guys. I'm going to be watching Ultraman. Okay, I'm going to be watching some Ultraman Z. And then tomorrow, the brand new Ultraman season is going to come out with their 4th episode, which means, you know me, I'm going to be super happy to watch the brand new Ultraman Blazer episode coming out tomorrow. So until then, I'm going to get hyped up by watching some older Ultraman shows. So there you guys go. Okay? Okay, so what you got? I want you guys to know that I appreciate you coming on by and talking to me, and that have a good evening, okay? I will be researching topics for my next discussion stream. So if you want me to do these more discussion streams, find some way to let me know through comments, right? or send me a message like a DM or something. I would prefer comments because it it kind of pushes me up in terms of engagement. So if you could just comment somewhere, like a topic or something, that'd be lovely. But other than that, I'm done. Let me read this comment real quick. I appreciate your input on media. You're well spoken, and you're and really good at maintaining dialogue with a camera. Thank you. I I just have this interest. I really do. I have a very strong interest in jumping from playing video games, right, to getting into discussions. So like I said earlier, just feel free to contact me. Let me know. You know, is there something you really want to be broken down in a longer form? You know, don't be shy, you know? So with that all done, I'm going to go and take a cold ass shower, and I hope you guys have a good evening. Okay, my DMs are open on Discord. Feel free to contact me on Discord if you want to talk to me about future content ideas or future topics to discuss about. Okay, so have a good night, guys. I'm going to let you look at the Hollywood sign one last time. Okay, here's the Hollywood sign, guys. Do you like it? Do you like the Hollywood sign? 10 out of 10. IGN. Alright, good night, guys.